Welcome back. Good evening, guys. Yet another first day, and time flies. I think we are really ending the year 2020. Two more weeks, and 2020 is gone. So, well, okay. So, how are you guys? Nice to meet you guys again. As always, every Thursday has been a routine for a few months, more than 6-7 months already. So hi guys, welcome back. Hi Puiling, good evening. Darren, good evening, and yes, welcome back. So yeah, I think today's company is also one of the companies that you guys actually asked us to look into, and of all the companies that we talk about, this one is actually a new business model. We never touched into this company before. So one of our readers actually PM us and say, can you look at this company and maybe make this company one of your candidates? And yeah, since we haven't talked about any companies like KPower, so why not just bring a new company with new business model and share with you guys. So yeah, this company is quite amazing. Has been loss making for 8 to 9 years. Then only recently, I think in 2019 only they broke into profit. So must be something good happen, right? And what was the something good that happened to this company? And can the company continue to grow, right? Since it's just the second year, the company continues to show a turnaround. So can this company, KPower, continue to grow for the third, fourth, fifth year, and sixth, and seventh, and so on? And if it can, if it's able to do that, then is it a good potential investment for investors like you and me, right? Any companies like KPower. So we will take a look, take a deep dive to the business model, as always, the balance sheet, the cash flow statements, what has the management of the company put in place, the plans, growth ideas, and then what are the prospects and also the threats as well. And from there only, we form a basic understanding of the company, and after that only we go to the valuation and yeah, talk about whether this company is maybe your cup of tea. But before that, maybe Chun Beng, have you heard of this company, and what do you like and what do you not like about KPower?
I think if you got follow the stock market, this should be one of the company that catching the headline, especially in the renewable energies or clean energies or this kind of team. I mean, of course, in this team, they are like SolarWest and so on. There are a couple of company, but we choose to start with this KPower because we find it is really, really interesting. Like what the title mentioned, is really turning from a fabric maker into a renewable energy player, and how all this happened. And to one of the angle that we always try to share throughout our previous session is how a management or leadership can bring some impact to the stocks. And we always mention this term called skin in the game. So this guy must be into this company reaping the most profits, and then you as a shareholder will take that along. So this is some of the findings that we will be very excited to share with you guys. I think we can start now.
All right. So as always, if you guys are new to the channel, this is your first episode of KayaPlus. If you think we are interesting, we impart a good 1 hour of learning session to you guys. Give us a like, follow on our Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube and also our Instagram. And if you go to our website, mykayaplus.com, and if you scroll down and if you subscribe to our newsletter, you will be given a portfolio tracker for free. So it's an Excel file. Basically, you capture all what the stocks you buy and what are dividends you have received, and then everything you tabulate, and then the portfolio tracker will automatically calculate your dividend yields for each stock, your entire portfolio, and what is your capital gains and what is your mark-to-market gains. Mark-to-market gains as in the stocks that you have bought but you haven't sold, but it's showing your unrealized profits. So everything will be captured under this portfolio tracker. So, and I hope that it gives you more clarity in managing and tracking your investments, because sometimes when people ask you how much are you making in the stock market, you don't have an answer. But hopefully with this tracker, you have at least something to guide and to ensure that you are improving every year. So as always, the disclaimer, companies that we talk about today is just purely for financial education purposes and sharing purposes, does not construe you to buy or sell or even hold the necessary securities. So, but if the company is really your cup of tea, just put in more effort, emphasis, and do more studies. And yeah, I hope you benefit if the company turns out to a very good company and you have eventually make your purchase after a thorough study of the company. So KPower, this is a company, the long name known as Kumpulan Powernet Berhad. So it's incorporated back in 1997, even before the financial crisis in 1999. But it only got listed in 2002, and it listed on the ACE market, and then after 7 years, it went to the main market. So as of June 2019, I would say Mohammed Abdul Karim Abdullah. So he actually took 51% equity stake in KPower. So he became one of the so-called substantial shareholders of KPower Berhad. So it was also, coincidentally, it was also the year 2019 that we saw KPower turn around, loss making for almost 8 to 9 years. And then when Dr. Mohammed Abdul Karim took over the company, it just suddenly turned into a profitable company. So what happened? So JuBeng, what actually happened? What is the miracle that happened that until a company can lose money for past 9 years and suddenly break into a profit?
Yeah, I think this will give a little bit of background if you are not familiar with this name called Dr. Mohammed Abdul Karim. He's basically the founder of Serba Dynamic, a company that some of you requested for us to cover, but we haven't had the time to look at, as in to share it out with you guys yet. So basically, it's this guy together with another Sendirian Berhad called Grandiose Vision, but the key person is really this Abdul Karim bin Abdullah. They take over this company, and then they started to restructure the company to focus into sustainable energy industry, which one of the key things they are looking into is, of course, solar, but then it's not a lot into solar when they started it off, because if you can see, majority company that got secured when he joined is focusing in hydropowers, which is also another type of sustainable energy kind of projects. And these guys is quite respectable. When he come in, he really can bring in a lot of deals, not only restricted in Malaysia, but also across the Southeast Asia region, and also some of it in the Middle East. So later we will cover, maybe to give you a clearer picture, what is the project. And then all this is just the pipeline that being built up, and there are a lot more is in the progress of trying to close it. So the one in the pipeline numbers is up to 3 billion worth of projects. But of course, the one, most of it are still in progress, and some of it is already secured. So it's quite respectable. Really a lot of deals are quite positive in the next 2 to 3 years.
Cool. So I think energy and utilities actually is the one that actually pivoted the company from loss making to profitable. But as good or as promising as the green energy or the clean energy business that the company is in, it is not only the so-called vertical that helps the company to generate the business. Apart from that, this company is also in property, is also in logistics, and is also in healthcare and technologies. So we'll go through deeper for each segment. So this one is the main core that the company actually started to focus on in 2019. They started to go into a lot of construction of hydro plants or projects, and then they will also be going into solar related businesses. Wait a minute. Okay. So here you have it. This is more or less the drop down. You can see that Malaysia still contribute quite a lot in the terms of the contract value. So I think around say around 600 plus 700 plus million of the contracts will be based in Malaysia, and you have Indonesia 40 million plus. In Laos, you have contracts total up to 57 million USD, and in Nepal also they have contracts of 2 hydro plants around the region of 94 million USD as well. So quite well spread across different regions. It's like a proof that they don't need to just rely on Malaysia as their group countries. They can also secure contracts all around the world, in this case Indonesia, Laos, and Nepal. So going to the logistics segments, what do they actually do for logistics, Shuming?
Yeah, so despite this, they also established this KPower Logistic through a strategic acquisition of this company called Chemtrax. And this is some of the positive signal that being released by the company, because this is the company that mainly do the transportation or handle the transportation of some hazardous chemicals and gas within Malaysia and Singapore. And one of the product that it transport, as in it handles, is very critical to the manufacturing of nitrous glove. And now it's the era of pandemic, and all this is the required materials for the manufacturer, as in the factory to start the manufacturing process. Hence, this is something that draw a positive signal outside of their major income that come from all the projects that secured in the sustainable energy sectors.
So maybe this could be one of the, I don't know whether KPower was one of the companies that saw their price shoot up because it was a proxy to nitro gloves. But yeah, I think back then when gloves were going up like crazy, other supporting companies, say for example companies that supply glove companies, the packaging, the cartons, so all these related companies also saw their share price going up as well. So I do not know whether KPower was one of the beneficiaries when glove prices were on a very high and crazy bull run. But this is also one of their sustainable or one of their business segment. So next one is property, straightforward property business. So I think they have a few so-called projects or so-called already launched property. So they have some shop offices in Sentul, and it's part under one of the subsidiaries, KPower Development. And they also have a Victorian style building in Liverpool, United Kingdom. So that one is owned by another subsidiary, but this one is the British Virgin Island domiciled company. So this one, I think, mainly function as a hostel to the nearby university students. So yeah, property, you build property and then you become the landlord, and it's more of like a recurring cash flow kind of business to the overall business pillars that KPower has. So last one is manufacturing. This one, what is it about, Jimmy?
Yeah, so this one, it goes a little bit technicals. It's one of another subsidiaries that owned by KPower, and then it actually handles the fabrics, some of the materials being used for the fabrics. But then what is the details actually didn't manage to dig up a lot of information. But this is the original business they are in, some sort, together with the property and so on. But the one that really new into the picture is the first two that we have shared, which is the sustainable energy, which bring in most of the revenue, and the second one will be the one that do the transportation. So these two is the business as usual, and they continue to run the business.
Okay, so here you have it. This is just a basic corporate structure of KPower. So you can see that they also separated their business segments according to the subsidiaries. So you have over here the first one, the energies and utility business. So for local one is under KPower Engineering Sdn Berhad. The international one is under KPower International and Limited. And for property business, yep, it's packed under two sub-segments. For development, new property development is under KPower Development Sdn Berhad. And for investment related, you have the Lean Limited. This is the company that actually owns the Liverpool Victorian Hostel. You have logistics, the one that carries the hazardous materials, and last but not least, for healthcare technologies, you have KPower Healthcare and also Powernet Industries Sdn Berhad. So here you have it. What actually happened for the past 5 years from the company earning fluctuating revenue, loss making, up till Dr. Abdullah Karim bought over the company and then transformed the company. You can see previously from 2016 until 2018, 6 million ringgit, 3.9 million ringgit, and then 5.7 million. So it's neither here nor there. The revenue is not even growing. And when Dr. Abdullah Karim took over, boom, the revenue actually went up to 13 million. And then as of the latest 2020, you can see it actually went up even more to 95.8 million. And this is also the period of time where you can see the company previously was loss-making, negative 8 million, negative 7 million, negative 4 million. And then in just the first year that Dr. Abdullah Karim took over, it actually registered a profit already, okay? 486,000. And then as of 2020, it went up to 12.7 million. And you can also see the company started to invest more assets in the company. And you can see the assets suddenly from 40 plus million, it went up to 167 million. And of course, we will talk more in the liabilities and so the equities portion when we go to the breakdown of the balance sheet. But this is where you can see companies with no growth currently as a white knight or capable management taking over, reposition the company, restructure the company, and from a loss-making company turn into a profit-making company. So it's very important that you have a knowledgeable, visionary kind of leader to actually lead the company. So I'll let JuMing take over how visionary Dr. Abdul Karim is, and after he took over, what actually happened. You can see here quite straightforward how many percent of their revenue comes from the construction related activities.
But of course, all this business is very dependent on the new contract coming in, and then what has been assured is in the next 1, 2 to 3 years, they have a very huge pipeline actually filled up all the salesperson. So this one is something that if they continue to close it based on the rate they managed to achieve for 2019 and 2020, the next few years should be another few years that will achieve the targets. But of course, the worry of all this is usually what next after the contract end. The answer or the finding come from the annual reports is they started off with some of the maybe area that is more familiar by the Abdul Karim, which is the hydropower. And then the next big industry they are trying to attack is actually solar. And none of the project contract values is being reflected in 2020 yet. So these some of the things that's lining up as part of a few things that's grouped under the pipeline that yet to be closed. So these are some of the updates or some of the things that we can stay and try to monitor how is it go in the next few years.
So as we go into a more deep dive to the so-called profit and loss or income statement of the company, you can see for the past few years, since 2014 until 2019, the company has always been in a loss making. Even you can see the revenue, 6 million, 5 million, 1 million, 3.9 million, 5.7. So this is, if you just close the few site, you just look at KPower as it is from 2014 up till 2018. This is one of the so-called criteria or examples of a not so performing company. So revenue never grows. That means every year you either sell the same amount of revenue or you even do lesser, and then you don't have a profit, and your profit margin can go down so much, -63, -300, and then -170. So this is so-called what we call companies that you cannot predict, because when you want to invest in a company, the key assumption is that company continue to grow in terms of revenue, company continues to grow in terms of profit, and then company share price continue to grow in tandem. So that's the basic assumption that investors have when we want to invest in a company. So when a company like that happens to come up and then people ask you to buy, you have to ask questions. Is this a company in a turnaround, or is this company not even turned around yet? Abdul Karim haven't even bought this company, or someone visionary or someone capable haven't even taken over this company yet, and yet people are asking you to buy this company. So that is a red flag that you should ask yourself, is this company really going to go up? If it does goes up, is it because it becomes valuable because it is generating more profits to shareholders, or it's just purely goreng? So these are the questions you have to ask yourself. But this is one of the criteria of a not so good company to invest. But once you have a competent management coming into a company, bringing new business, bringing more promising business, then you see the company starts to report profit, and the profit margin actually shows improvement as well. Then only you can ascertain that, okay, this company maybe got chance now, really got chance now. And you can see as of 2020, this company actually managed to register their first profit margin of 13% compared to the last 10 years where it has been loss making. And hopefully 2021, I think first quarter only, you can see that first quarter the company has even reported 57 million in terms of revenue. 57 million revenue or one quarter is almost a half of what they did for 2020, the last whole year. So yeah, this is the thing or questions that you want to ask yourself, whether this company can continue to grow or not. Next, balance sheet. Maybe I'll let Chun Bing take over. What do you see here, and what is the good thing and what is the not good thing if it has?
So if you can take a look on this, the good part is actually the debt didn't increase following the huge amount of increase in the asset. So I think this is quite positive, meaning all of this come from a genuine project. They come in, they bring in, they be in cash or cash equivalent kind of stuff. So this is a solid increase in terms of asset, and then they can use this to do much more thing from a company perspective. This is really, really positive. But of course, in the previous year, all those things is not doing well. But of course, the view that we have is 2018 onward. But if you take a look on the previous 5 to 10 years, then maybe you can see a very, very ugly or not up to par kind of performance that being done by a listed company.
So last but not least, okay, I think here is the interesting part. So you can say that KPower has turned around the business ever since 2019, and things should be looking good in all aspects, inclusive the profit and loss statement, inclusive the balance statements, and up to here you have the cash flow statements as well. So you can see, yep, you are right. So business turned around in 2019. So operating cash flow still negative, but compared to the 9 million ringgit in 2018, at least it's a significant jump already. And as of 2020, the company actually reported operating cash flow. And then you look at the investing portion, you can see that yeah, it has been either here nor there, so no big fluctuation in financing or investing. But in terms of financing, you can see that there's a huge yellow bar as of fiscal year 2020. So what happened? Why suddenly so many money come into the company? So you can see that in 2020, actually, there have been a few corporate restructuring, or I would say equity financing. The company actually underwent 2 private placements. And what private placements means that the company just needed cash, and they raised more cash by selling more shares to certain individuals. Private placements is where they sell to accredited investors, or even the so-called key management. They are the ones who actually take up more shares. They are the ones fork out money from their pocket, and then they buy more shares of the company. And retail investors are usually the ones that are not able to participate in private placements. For rights issue, yes, everyone gets the same chance to actually buy more shares when the company actually needs to raise money by offering every existing shareholders a chance to actually subscribe to more shares. So that one's called rights issue. So yeah, KPower actually opted to do 2 private placements. I think Abdul Karim has always had this so-called knack or habit to raise cash through private placements. Even for Serba Dynamic, 2 times already they raised cash via private placements. But if they raise cash for growing the company, and then the management themselves, they subscribe it, you have to see it from both ways. Yes, they actually will dilute our existing shares, but they are getting more skin in the game. Anything bad happens to the company, definitely they will feel the heat, they feel the pain more than we retail investors who don't hold as much shares as them. But if you just neglect that, you can see that the company as of 2020 has been free cash flow, and it has been on an increasing trend, even if you take the latest trading 12 months performance versus the latest fiscal year 2020. So prospects, we have seen that the company just pivoted from loss to profit making. So the questions that normally you want to ask is, can this company continue to grow further? And if it can continue to grow further, how big or how big is the potential in this company growth? So Chun-Ming, you want to take us through that?
Yeah. So this is some of the things that I've been mentioning since the beginning of the sharing. Is how Dr. Abdul Karim managed to bring in all these funnels, which is quite interesting. But maybe for you to see this is a little bit blur. What basically mean here is they have actually joined different bids, and then as of 31st of March 2020, they have managed to build 66.5 million, which is very, very good from a number perspective. And then this thing alone didn't come from the one single market, which is Malaysia, but it go across the Southeast Asia and also Middle East and also Nepal. So all this is some of the thing that is packing into the order book, and you expect to keep on hitting more in the next quarters or next financial years. So if you compare 2019 and 2020, it's a huge leap, but you should expect more for 2021, especially from what has been reported and what is in the pipeline. So they are not lack of deal in a way. And what has been shown in the past 2 years is this guy are capable of closing the deal. Some of the company, they can participate in a lot of biddings, but end up maybe they only win 1 or 2 by the end of the year. But this company have shown the capability to close the deal, and it's a big one.
Yep.
So all this is interesting. With the credibility that's been built up, and the project that's in the progress of rolling out. So the next 2-3 years should be something exciting year for them lah. But the key question is, after hydropower and they enter big into the solar industry, are they able to expand beyond this targeted market? If not, then what is the next industry they will enter? So all this is question mark, but for the near terms, 2 to 3 years, it shouldn't be any problem of continue to show a good result.
Yeah. So I think quite very, I would say, it's a really, really big. You look at their prospects, they want to bid around close to 3 billion ringgit worth of projects. And you look back, this is a company that actually was loss-making just few years back, and loss-making for the past 8 to 9 years. And suddenly it can just change so much. It's just 180 degrees kind of change. And it just re-emphasized how much we actually put and ask you guys to actually check who is actually leading the company, because good company can just go under because there's a bad management. And we don't even talk about companies, even historical countries, historical civilizations. You have a wrong leader as a king or as a leader, then the country and the whole civilization can also topple as well. So this is one of the good examples that you have a good management, then the company can turn from loss making to a profit making company. So I think after talking about how the company is trying to win bids, projects all over Southeast Asia and also Middle East and also other parts of Asia, you also have we think this guy personally also is one of the catalysts, or I think this is one of the prospects that we can pin the hope or the fate of a company onto one person. And for KPower, it would be Dr. Abdullah Karim. So you can see that once he came in, he just hired the right people. He went on the so-called turn the company around, and then knows what business to focus, what is the most prospective one to actually turn the company around. And you might ask, how is it possible? Why is it when you invest in a company, you are actually investing in a person? And to be honest, this is not the first time or first example people buy or people pin their hopes on the company onto just one person. Previously, when Steve Jobs was around, people was very hopeful that if Apple is if Apple is always under the tenure or the management or the guidance of Steve Jobs, every year Apple will come up with a mega product, and everyone would still queue to buy the products. Same goes for Tesla. People will think that Elon Musk is the only person that can change how we drive our cars and be the so-called spearhead leader when it comes to deriving what autonomous driving is and what electrical vehicle is. So yeah, there is sometimes companies like that does occur, and if you really hope or believe that this individual can actually help to bring the company to more success, then yeah, you have to monitor him personally, and anything bad happen to him, of course, would also spell some negative downsides to the company as well. So if anything happened to Elon Musk, then Tesla shares won't be as high as they are today also as well. So yeah, how the company's management will drive new ventures and to lead the company. And yeah, we have risk as well. So maybe Chun Bing will take over this.
Yep. So again, all this sustainable energy is not something that has been proven at the start. Good thing always need time to actually, need a lot of effort from, especially from the government, to build up the industry before it can turn into a norm. This is how the government play the role by implementing policy that affect how the private sector decided where they should park their profit into for the next investment. and especially for sustainable energy that involve very high capex or capital expenditure, it always need to have some push from the government perspective, because they are the one that will think on behalf of the citizen what is good, and then they should have a 5 to 10 year kind of planning, compared to private sector. Maybe they everything down to dollar and cents. Even though this thing can be good in 5 year time, but this 2 year, I'm a listed company shareholder or the owner, I cannot show the number. I might even cannot continue to run this company. So this is the reality lah. I mean, it's always down to dollar and cent, but then government always see the thing differently. They try to plan ahead for the citizens. So be the hydropower, solar, all those things is really dependent on the policy. If you guys are into solar industry, you should heard of this term called feed-in tariff. Basically, is an initiative by the government for you to feed the electricity generated by a solar board. If you have excess after being used by your house, it will actually go back to the main grid. Technically, sell it back to TMB. You are the small person that actually contribute back to the TMB, and then of course you earn some of the thing back lah. So this is some of the example on how this thing can push. And then, of course, the few more thing that you should take note is you are into this mega construction, you should expect notables or relatively good margin. But if you jump into the annual reports, even though they report a very high revenue, the margin is relatively low, because usually the thing that you do one-off, the margin will be high. The thing that you keep on supplying the same thing, and then it's all about the volume of those things, then the margin will go down. But for KPower, even though the revenue number is high, but the margin is relatively weak from their business model perspective. And then, of course, the few thing is whether they are able to keep up with the order books, even though these 2 years seems to be positive. But what's next? And we should still continue to monitor. And lastly, is about the competition. It's linked to government. Government push. There is some hot money into the market that everyone will try to grab it. So you are the one that deliver the good service, then someone will copy your service and try to price it 10% lower or 20% lower, or even come from the other country, try to compete with you. So all these things will come.
Yeah, so it's basically what we see for the growth makers. So suddenly a lot of companies want to enter the growth making business because of the pandemic. Demand has driven the prospects up. So yeah, and I think one of the key risks that I personally want to take a look is the order book replenishment and growth. So as you know, KPower is a company that builds clean energy related kind of construction, your hydropower and your solar. So there's only so much hydropower station you can build, right? One river, you can only build 1 or 2. So what if the whole world, the rivers, one day, every river already has a hydropower station? So how can your company grow again, right? So that's a question you have to ask yourself if you want to invest in a contract order book intensive, or they rely a lot on the contracts and order book. So same for property business as well. One day, all over Malaysia, the land has been built with a property already. So what you want to build? What's the next thing you want to build to continue to grow revenue? So that's the question mark you want to ask yourself. And homework, if you want to take a look deeper into KPower, usually companies that run or build or construct clean energy related constructions, be it hydropower or solar, usually they are given a concession, meaning after you build finish, you have permission to operate the hydropower plant, or you have power to actually operate the solar plant for a rough period of 5 to 10 years, or sometimes 15 years. And even that 5 to 10 years or even 15 years will provide at least a stable guarantee of revenue. If you run the power plant, that you become the so-called like a like a toll collector lah. So people use your toll, then you just charge them the money. So you run a hydropower plant, you generate electricity, you sell electricity to someone, and then you reap the so-called more predictive revenue for the tenure that you are given. And does KPower have concessions on their current projects that they are doing? And if not, how are they going to mitigate that to ensure that one day, if their order book runs dry, they can continue to be a relevant business? So that's a homework for you guys if you want to invest into KPower. Last but not least, maybe the favorite part or the most exciting part is the valuation. So for a company like KPower, loss-making turned profitable and showing very good prospects in terms of the growth. Mike hit 3 billion ringgit of contract order books, market cap only 670 million. Okay, and then even I give them 10% profit margin, they might even be showing, say, for example, 300 million worth of net profit if that 3 billion order book gets reported. So only 2 times the market cap. And then EPS as of today, trailing 12 months is 17 cents. PE 33 times. ROE, 12% is not bad for a construction company. And dividend have a policy of 20%, but pays out 2.26 cents per share, and then having a yield as of today of 0.38%. Jermaine, your thoughts? Yes, good.
I think to be fair, usually you do some homework before you invest into the company, and then you might see, it's a very good company that being turned around. But will this guy be another Tony Fernandez that can really bring Asia to fly? But even Asia will hit their ceiling when COVID hit to the market. So
yeah,
this is why with all this tremendous growth, they're coming in and they are still hovering at 30 to 30 plus kind of PE. So people are being conservative because of the historical performance that being presented out. And this is not a new company. It has been 10 years plus. The new management come in, whether they are committed for the next 5 to 10 years, none of us know. Maybe it's just the right time they wanted to come into this space. But then when they manage to reap most of the contact that they have and then close most of the deal that they manage to, as in they are connected to, then they'll just leave. So all these things will make you think twice before you invest. But of course, in my opinion, those figure being shown is genuine. 1 billion worth of thing is technically won in a way. And they are having another 2 billion worth kind of contract in the pipeline. So in my opinion, the next 2-3 years, it shouldn't be a problem to keep up with this current PE. But whether, for me, it's quite simple. If they manage to show what they have been telling to the market, the 3 billion, and then they manage to close majority of it or whatnot, then it's always good, and then I believe the share price will go up. But what you should really worry about is maybe starting end of next year or end of 2022, you should always rethink the moment when let's say you buy now, is them going to exhaust all their connection already or not. So I think the risk is technically not now. The risk will come in 2 to 3 years later. With something is quite manageable compared to Pentamaster. All those things is hovering at 50 plus. Even revenue also at 50 plus. GHL at 100 plus. GF plus. Yeah, you can compare. Yeah, and of course, this is in sustainable energy. The newly elected presidents, of course, haven't sworn into the office. President Biden's to be is very bullish into this industry, not our current Donald Trump kind of. It's quite different. So all this definitely is a catalyst to this industry.
I see. So I think, yeah, fair point. The company has shown that it is able to grow at a high percentage if you compare year-on-year basis. And since the company has just been taken over in 2019, you would expect that the growth momentum or the growth story to at least continue at least 5 years before you start to see that they cannot grow as fast as they were in the beginning phase, but they could still continue to grow at a respectable pace. So my thoughts on it is that for a construction company to trade at 33 plus is a bit on the high side. You compare back to other construction companies, definitely overpriced, but you can always argue that they are niche construction into clean energy, into hydropower, and going to solar. And if Joe Biden actually put in a lot of emphasis, then you will suddenly see that, yeah, companies, normal companies will even want to invest into solar panels because it's just the so-called government policies that benefit them. They can even claim tax reliefs for venturing or having the initiative to go into clean energy or green energy. And once you have such kind of policies pushing the demand and the suppliers of this kind of business or services, like KPower, would definitely be on a very prospective, kind of future that they will be heading to. So questions and more questions, but if you answer them, then you would actually know that whether KPower is promising, it's a company that you can buy based on the 33 times PE, or you want to wait for a low PE. So that's up to you to decide. But as of now, I would say this is not my cup of tea. I don't really like companies that rely too much on order book. I cannot foresee whether they can continue to win contracts or not. I prefer companies that are more predictable. But that's just for me. So, but I hope you guys enjoy our sharing on a contract-based company. So how this company actually earn money, they have to bid for contracts, and then once they bid for it, they have to also secure and execute the contract. Some contracts don't just get executed within 1 year, so it can be years. And every year they can just recognize partial contribution from the overall contract only. So do you guys like contract-based revenue kind of company, or do you like more predictable kind of business model, like FMCGs, like banks, whatsoever? So yeah, quite exciting as well to actually touch base on new company, new business model, and also new revenue model as well. So hope you guys like it, and let's go to the Q&A session and see what comments that you guys have. So yeah, I think we see a lot of familiar faces, Chongqing and Francis. And yeah, hi Steve. And the first question will come from EC. What if Karim ceases acting as director, KPower becomes Jialat again? So for our Malay friends who don't know what Jialat is, or maybe you guys would know, Jialat means not good, deep shit. So I would say probably yes, but as much as I like to give Abdullah Karim full recognition of what he does, actually there's also another key person within KPower. So that person is Mr. Mustaqim. So Mustaqim is the current managing director of KPower. So he came in roughly the same time as Abdul Karim, and I think he's quite close with Abdul Karim. And he is also one of the influential persons who actually, together with Abdullah Karim, actually turned the company around. And maybe one day Abdullah Karim decides not to become the chairman, but you still have Mr. Mustaqim around, then you still can validate and justify that, yeah, okay, one important guy is gone, but at least there's still another one. So you can also have to take note of Mr. Mustaqim, the current managing director. So I would say it's just solely based on just Abdullah Karim. So yeah, I think just one question. Oh, today you guys are very quiet. But if you have any questions, you can let us know. Questions on stocks not related to KPower also, we can try our best to answer. But before your questions come in, maybe I will ask Chun Beng. Chun Beng, you talk about management a lot in this company. Apart from KPower, what are the other companies that maybe you have invested in? You also emphasis a lot on the management as well.
Yeah, I mean the obvious answer should be Tony Fernandez, that he's like the man behind all this.
Hello, Chun Beng, are you there?
Yep. Yeah, I mean beside Dr. Adil Karim, of course Tony Fernandez is another examples of an icon to the company that drive a lot of things into it. So imagine Tony Fernandez is not the one behind this company anymore, then you might be worried. Same goes to a few banks, public bank, Hong Leong Bank. These two is also driven by leadership, the same guys for couples of years or even more than 10 years. So all these guys is kind of critical to the growth of company. I think we lost Jupan already. I will look into some of the comment that's coming in. So this is another company. This is another comment or question coming from EC. Is related to public bank bonus issue, which is kind of interesting, or how to say, is making into the headline in a lot of news or platform. I think it's very interesting to see this movement, because public bank bonus issue is not 4-1, but it's like 1-4. So the direct impact of this from a layman perspective is basically if you're holding one share of public bank, and then after the bonus issue you have 5 in total. 4 is given out for free, and then 1 is the one that you're holding right now. The direct impact into it is, of course, the share price will be divided by 5, and then it will cause some confusion to the market if people didn't follow the news and they thought, hey, what happened to public bank? Maybe it's a time to grab it. A lot of time, it will show a very abnormal movement when the bonus issue happen. Usually it goes up. People thought, wow, it's in a mega discount, it's time to buy. Then when people start to realize, then they will just drop off, and it will drop beyond the highest level. So because of all these all these movement that has been practiced by a lot of opportunists, I believe it will happen again for public bank. So you will say things, a lot of opportunists try to go in, and then when it hit the bonus issue date, it will just shoot up, and then people try to sell off, and then suddenly drop into the lower price before it get as an issue, the bonus issue lah. So these are some of the information you guys should take note.
Yeah, personally, I think it's a good thing lah. for the bonus share to come. And if you guys remember how bonus share actually works, is the company takes the retained profits, park it back to the share capital. The cash remains with the company, and we shareholders, we get more shares. And yeah, if you need the cash, then you just sell off the shares lah. But if you think that the company can continue to grow and you think that the market sentiment will become better because the shares now is more affordable, then it's actually added benefit for existing shareholders. You might get the premium because the shares are more affordable, and the company actually has the cash now. So you see banks need cash to actually borrow money. So gesture lah, or for the bank, for us as well.
Okay, there's another comment from Benjamin talking about SCIB. Interesting. We haven't really looked into this company yet lah. But if there's a chance, we will actually try to cover it. And the nature of it is quite similar to KPower. It also have a lot of dependency on government policy in a way, because it's the materials that required for mega projects in terms of constructions. And also back to the question is whether they can continue to get order contract on a year-to-year basis lah. But of course, the details we don't really have it. We will share more if in the future lah, if there's a chance.
Should we buy public banks bonus share before bonus issue or after bonus issue? You should buy public bank if you believe that it's a good company for the next 5 years, 10 years. The bonus issue is just added advantage, benefit for being a public bank shareholder. So if a company is not a good company, they give you bonus share also no use. Personally, from my perspective. So I think the more important question is, can public bank be a good investment for 5 and 10 years time? Because if you buy it, you're actually betting the Malaysian economy, you're betting on the Malaysia housing loan growth. I think Malaysia banks, a lot of them rely a lot on housing loans to grow their interest-related revenue. So do you believe in the Malaysian economy? Do you think that public bank is able to grow with the Malaysian economy? So if yes, then invest in public bank, invest at the valuation you're comfortable with, and bonus share or not, it's just the added benefits of investing into a good company. So yes, I think we can go on to the next question. I think this one is a very good question. Compare with SCIB and KPower, which one is better in terms of potential growth? Jumbeng, do you have any idea on this one?
I don't think we can give any fair comment at the moment, because I just have a very prelim understanding on SCIB. We didn't, as in me personally, didn't study in details, so I don't think it would be fair for us to comment. But of course, both of them really rely on key client, key account, and contract they are managed. They are trying to secure throughout the years. So if you can see from KPower, we sort of share with you guys 1 billion worth of pipeline is already worked on, and then there will be another 2 in the next 2 years. So all this information is solid and genuine, but then SCIB we need to find out more. Yes. I think lately a lot of FMCG company is going down in a way, although it seems like majority of the investment team have shifted from glove to vaccine base to consumer base. Consumer base is like airline related stocks, be it airline or bank, or even properties construction is on the recovery moods from the current sentiments. But be it QL, Kawan, all those things, it didn't seem like it. They are dropping quite significantly in the recent weeks. You want to comment anything on it for Kawan?
I don't think there are any big news, but I think the only thing I can think back is like, what was it? Yeah, Kawan Food, actually, we looked previously when we analyzed them, Malaysia revenue actually grew a lot. And if you really understand their Malaysia sales model, because you see, Kawan actually makes roti prata or roti canai, frozen version. And their sales actually was very well during MCO time because, yeah, we cannot go and hang out at the mamak, right? So we still have our craving for roti, and you can see that the Malaysian revenue, if not mistaken, picked up. And now when we reopen, the fastest way to get your roti fix is actually to go straight to the mamak. Now you don't need to buy frozen prata and then make the frozen prata, and then you still have to cook the curry yourself. Straight away go to the mamak, your roti appetite or craving is fixed. So I don't know, maybe it's just a change of sentiments that actually shook the company share price so much. But for me personally, I will foresee that the Malaysia revenue will see some softening. So just basically, the mamak doesn't even buy frozen roti for the business. They make it from scratch. And if Malaysia's economy is slowly reopening back, then there's no catalyst for the Malaysia revenue to further go up. And yeah, I think we have suddenly all the questions coming in. I think there's one question that is asking, how does solar company... Okay, we finished Francis first, or maybe this one. Okay, so how does solar company make its profit? By no in Isnita. So I think there are two ways a solar company can make business, or solar related company can make business. So first one is actually the construction, solar construction company. So these are the people who have the skills or the technicalities to actually build solar farms. So they will be the builder, the construction. Oh, you want to build a solar farm? Okay, I can quote you if you want to build it based on this hectare land, and then using what type of solar panels, and then I'll build it for you. So you give me a price, I quote you a price, and after I build it, that's it. You operate the solar farm. That is the first business model of a solar related company. The second one is the solar company. So this could be the company that actually runs the solar panel, that generates the electricity, sells it back to the main grid, or supplies it to whatever supporting business that they have a small contract with. In Malaysia, you only get TNB, but going to other countries, energy companies are more decentralized. There are more than a few companies that you can buy electricity from, and this company may be deriving their energy from solar. So yeah, I think this is just a tool, and if you want to go deeper, you can also have the companies that are making the solar panels. So you have the maker, the ones that actually build the solar panel farm or the solar farm, and the ones that actually run the business, selling the electricity generated from solar panels. So I think there's another question from Francis, a very long one. Hi guys, I did not read into the detail of this company, but it seems like they recently got projects upon projects, and even Serba Dynamic came into the limelight. Yes, you are right. Serba Dynamic is one of the related party transactions of KPower, just basically because the two of these companies are not related to each other, and yet there are some business dealings, and there are some directors that are directors of these two companies. So normally you get this kind of related party transactions when two companies are doing business with each other. So yeah, it could be due to their industry and the political connections. They are friendly presently, as they highlighted the experience and the connections in the management team to land projects in their corporate presentation. Yes, you are right, Francis. Would like to know how sustainable of getting projects as the companies rely on book orders. So yeah, I think this is one of the risks to actually take note of, because of that we actually put this in the risk segment of investing into such companies. These companies might or might not be getting winning contracts because of political affiliations, or even maybe due to connection. We are not in a position, or nor do we have the so-called benefit of doubts to actually pinpoint that out. But you can be right to a certain extent in assuming that. So that's basically part of a risk when we see it. So yeah, if one day Abdul Karim and Mr. Mustaqim just decided not to further grow the company, and they sell off their stake, and a new management comes in, then yeah, that's your ending of your fairy tale story. So which is why we put that as a potential risk if you want to invest into KPower. So yeah, I think thank you for Maverick Nasku for highlighting. There's another way where solar companies make profit. So there's a solar PV developers. They essentially rent the roof to the client, and then they invest into the solar PV system. Yeah, I think this is a lot of the so-called initiatives that previously the previous government has actually given this kind of initiative to the SMEs in Malaysia lah. So basically you just invest in the panels and then put it on the roof. So this is also the kind of sub-segment of a solar company that can actually build their so-called revenue and also their business as well. So thanks for the sharing, Maverick Nasku.
Yeah, but all this is very dependent on the government policy.
Yep.
It used to be very popular where you see a lot of house in the urban area come with, suddenly when you pass by some areas, there will be a few house installed solar panel at the rooftop. It's driven by the policy, like what we mentioned, called feed-in tariff. It used to be super good rate offered by the government, and it can't be a long-term contract. So when you manage to lock down the rate, you can enjoy it for, let's say, 5 to 10 years. So this was a glory day previously, but now you can see the subsidy is getting lesser in a way. So lesser company that jump into this space, but more into laying out a mega plant, be it on top of IKEA in Penang, at least 1 megawatt and above. This kind of project is popping up and supporting by different companies, but not the installation in the household. Getting less, it's still profitable in a way, but not as promising or lucrative compared to the initial launch of the subsidies.
Yeah. So yeah, there you have it. I think we basically highlighted or go through all of the questions that you guys have related or not related to KPower or even solar as well. And also thanks to some of you who have been sharing your feedbacks and so-called knowledge on solar companies or solar business models. And yeah, I think come to think about it, we are almost at the end of the year, and I don't know about you guys. Since next week is Christmas Eve on a Thursday, and the following week would be New Year's Eve. So we might think that it's good for us or for everyone to actually take a break. You guys might have to party for Christmas Eve and also party and enjoy time with your family on a New Year's Eve as well. Maybe we'll take 2 weeks off and we'll see you guys next year, 2021. But of course, you can still contact us if you have any questions or if you have any companies you want to shortlist and highlight for our first episode of 2021, Not So Late Night Show. I think that will be on the 7th of January. So
yeah. And also,
EC is asking next week what topic. EC, next week, take a break from investing and then enjoy time. Maybe go shopping. I don't know.
Yeah, and also some of the thinking that we have. Actually, we have been working on this. I think since May. Every week we try to share a company, and also we are trying to compile some of the top company that we have in our mind, and make it into some sort of outlook in 2021. And we would like to share with you guys lah. But it will be technically a closed group session, and then it will be a how do we call it? It's technically a paid session. That's why we call it a closed group session. And we will be hosting. We're still finalizing the date. It will be technically end of January. And then I think it's a good start for you to get preparation before Chinese New Year come, for example.
Yep.
And if you guys are interested to know more about it, you can PM us starting now. But throughout the next 2 weeks, we will continue to actually share more information and share it with you guys. If you guys are really interested to know what is the top company that we are going to share in details, and then how we're going to conduct this closed group session with you guys, PM us now. We'll let you know. And we are also trying to finalize the reason why we didn't officially launch it, because we're trying to collect some of the opinion from you guys whether we should focus in Malaysia Bursa companies, or we should do a mixture of Malaysia plus some international, let's say UX stock. It'll be good if you can reach us directly, and then we will be able to compile and finalize and share more information starting next week. And then I hope to see you guys in the closed group session.
Yep. So yeah, the rationale is just that it's the new year. Everyone needs to set their goals for the upcoming year. What are the companies to invest? What are the companies to look out for? And which industry is going to be the high growth companies, highest potential, and also the highest prospects as well. And out of the so many companies, which are the ones that you need to take a look or take a closer look at. So for you guys who have been listening our sharings, if you guys are confident in the way that we approach analyzing companies or analyzing businesses, and you would want to actually know our personal outlook on what are the 10 companies to focus on for the year 2021, yeah, you can leave us a comment or leave us a PM. We'll let you know more. And of course, if you want the top 10 companies to be just purely 10 companies in Malaysia, in Bursa Malaysia, we can do that. Or if you want a mixture of Malaysia companies, a mixture of companies in Hong Kong, in US, even in Singapore as well, yeah, we are able to do that as well. But we just want to create a content that when you pay, you really take full benefit and take full advantage of it. I don't want to give you 10 companies based on the US and then you invest purely in Malaysia, and yeah, it's just nothing. It doesn't make any benefit to you. So let us know if you're interested. How we analyze companies fits your appetite, and you understand and you think that how we approach investing is the right methodology, and you want to actually learn more in this small sharing session with us.
Okay.
But yeah, prior to that, I think Scientex is a good company. Chongqing have highlighted maybe it would be one of the upcoming candidates in our next Not So Late Night show. But if there's no more questions, we will leave you for now. As always, today is the last episode of Not So Late Night show of 2020. Happy New Year for you guys, and we'll see you guys when the new year comes, 7th of January, 2021, same time as always, 9 to 10 p.m. But as for now, Happy New Year in advance and good evening. See you after the New Year. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.